There are a number of reasons why leaders struggle to make impact, why they just grapple with achieving critical goals, why the performance of leaders tank after some time. And interestingly, some of the most profound reasons, these leaders often overlook them. What they emphasize is not what should be emphasized. What they de-emphasize is what should be emphasized. In summary, they have their priorities mixed up, or if you like, turned upside down. And that's why they can make the impact, the kind of impact that they're expected to make, that they would like to make as well. And that's what I want to focus on today on Leadership Monday. The nugget you're about to receive that will help you to do leadership right is targeted at resolving that puzzle, if you like. So, welcome to Leadership Monday. My name remains Olatunji Shobodo. I'm your anchor, CEO and founder, Emet Leadership Academy. At Emet Leadership Academy, we nurture leaders based on truth. We nurture leaders based on truth. What you hear on our broadcast is truth, the truth about leadership. And it works, not because we say so, although we have plenty of people who can corroborate that, but because of the source from where the truth that we teach is drawn, proven for more than 2,000 years. For the avoidance of doubt, we teach leadership truths that have their root in the Word of God. So today, I'll be speaking on the need for you to prioritize some hard truths if you must upgrade your performance. So essentially, what are we saying? We're saying when leaders get their priorities wrong, it undermines their performance. They are unable to make the kind of impact that they're expected to make. And the most important priority of a leader is what I will show you today, and I will show you how many leaders sacrifice that priority on the altar of ignorance or on the altar of negative influences. What do I mean by that? They sacrifice that topmost priority on the altar of ignorance because they are not aware that that particular factor ought to be first priority in their conduct of leadership. They sacrifice on the altar of adverse influences or interferences because they tend to place company policy or organization policy above the focus on people. And every time you do that, you are sacrificing your ability to take full advantage of the potentials of the people, which is what will upgrade your performance. No leader can get everything done by himself. If the performance of a group or a team is based purely and only exclusively on the contributions of the leader, then that's a shame. That's not leadership. The leader is carrying excess weight. The leader cannot achieve the full potential of his or her team. The reason that people, are members of your team is that they are given to help you achieve, right, your mandate, which is achievable, all right, only by you developing the people. So your first focus in terms of measuring results should be the impact you make on your people before you start talking about any other target or any other goal. But that's not what most leaders do. They actually walk to the contrary. So I want to share with you something that transpired with a leader and the experience that he had. And that leader is Peter. On one occasion, he had a vision. And in that vision, all right, certain sheets were being dropped before him with all manner of, meats, if you like. And he was told to kill and to eat. And each time he said, look, no, I won't kill and eat. I've never touched any unclean or uncommon thing in my life. That is, I've never been involved in anything that is contrary to uprightness. All right. I've never violated, if you like, company policy. And that's the way it is with many of us. And then he was told that no, he shouldn't say that, that there are no common people. All right. There are no common people. That's where I like to start. There are no common people. All right. Leaders tend to treat certain people as, people who are not worthy of their attention, people who are not worthy to become followers, people that they shouldn't waste their time on. Okay. Of course, that entire experience led to Peter now going to the community of people, they call them Gentiles. And the rule had always been that the Jews do not, hang around with Gentiles. The Gentiles are sort of treated as second class citizens, and so Jews don't interact with them. But, he was playing a different role. He was in a leadership role, and he was being warned ahead of the assignment that God wanted to give him, that some people are going to come and look for you. I'm going to use you. I need to use you to transform their lives. And so when they come, please, because they are not the kinds of people that you are used to interacting with, don't say that you are not going to give them attention. Don't say that you are not going to follow them. They have as much a need as the people that you have been interacting with. All right. And he got that understanding. And so when the messengers of, Cornelius came, and requested for his visit, he followed. And the moment he got there, he made a very important statement. And he said, I perceive that God is no respecter of persons. That is, God does not play favorites. Okay. And he had now submitted to that rule. Don't play favorites. Don't discriminate between people on your team. Some people are not more eligible to benefit from your leadership than others. True leaders don't play favorites. And that leads me to the number one priority of leadership. Number one priority of leadership. If you don't practice it, if you don't subscribe to it, you cannot achieve stellar performance. The performance that is possible with your team will not be achieved until and unless you place this factor as topmost priority. You are not allowed as a leader to play favorites. Leaders don't have favorites. Leaders, true leaders, don't have favorites. Okay? And what do we mean by that? Put differently, true leaders, they operate a level playing field. A level playing field. How do we mean? What we mean is that under your leadership, Every person reporting to you, every person for over whom you have responsibility, must be given an equal opportunity to benefit fully from what you have to offer. You must give them that opportunity. You must give attention when they require it. And indeed, for those who may be lagging behind, you must give greater attention. All right? You must not just give attention to those who are exciting you. You must give attention to those who are not able to catch up, who are not living up to your expectations. You have work to do on that. You can't decide what each person benefits from you as a leader. It's up to them. But what is within your control and what you must see to is that you make the fullness of you, the fullness of what you have to offer available to everyone. Let them be the one that decide what they take out of what you offer. All right, not you. The moment you become the one deciding or trying to influence, what they benefit, you have already created a problem. The moment that you are volunteering certain teachings or certain information or certain gestures towards some people against some other, you are already creating problems. You're already creating problems. Ordinarily, Peter would never have gone to the house of Cornelius. And in fact, when his colleagues heard that he went to mix up in their own view with these categories of people, they took an issue with him. They took issue with him. So, what do you think you're doing? And he told them the lessons that he learned, the vital lessons that he learned, that he was not supposed to discriminate against anyone as a leader. He was not supposed to discriminate against anyone as a leader. And is one of the things I thought I was going to conclude with, that there are people like that in your organization. I call them the policy over people colleagues. The people who are so sold out on the company policy that even if people are going to die, they will be talking about the policy instead of helping the people. That's not leadership. True leadership is people focus first, is life first, above company policy. Company policy is a law. All right, leadership is about life. There are two different things. Leadership, the truth of leadership, must supersede company policy. The truth of leadership, if you know what leadership is, must supersede company policy. Now, notice, we are not saying that company policy is not important and you shouldn't comply with it. But where company policy is hindering your ability to deliver the help that the people need, you must choose the people over the policy. You must choose the people over the policy. All right? Laws are made for man. Man is not made for laws. Many leaders need to understand that. It's the same lesson that Jesus taught in Matthew 23:23 when he said to them, you guys, you are all about paying tithes. You know how to pay tithes, but you are neglecting more important things. There are more important things, for God's sake, than tithe. Tithe, in my view, points to compliance with company policy, so to speak. They were uptight about compliance with company policy to the extent that they neglected more important things. What are the more important things? They are people-related issues. The more important things that he talked about there, he talked about fairness, he talked about mercy, he talked about faith. They are more important because they focus on people above policy. I mean, he's the one that gave the law on tithe, But he's now saying, look, that law is secondary. That law is not top priority. Stop it. And he was speaking to leaders. Said the first priority is justice, which is fairness, which means you must not play favorites. That's the environment that you must create as a matter of top priority. If it is not there, your people are not encouraged to give their best. That's the truth. That is how that misplacement of priority undermines your performance. Because the best of your team will not come from you. It will come from the contributions they make to enable you as a team achieve certain goals. So you need the people. They are not just following you. You need them. Yes, they're going to benefit from you, but you are developing their capacity. So imagine you are replicating the abilities that you have. If you have 10 people reporting to you, that means you have the opportunity of achieving 10 times at least what you alone can achieve. So why would a leader be so stupid as not to pay attention to developing these people, the capacity in these people, so that you can produce 10x results, and you are the one trying to get everything done by yourself? Leaders who do that don't understand what they're doing. They don't understand leadership. And they will tell you, well, part of the reason is management breathes down on their neck. Management wants result today. Well, that's part of the problem with management. But at the same time, if you know your onions, you will sacrifice that time required and focus on developing your people, building their capacity, investing, and there are ways of doing that so that you upgrade them. And those who are expecting performance from you, when they want to start complaining, then they begin to see the benefit of your own approach. Because if you follow their approach, you are going to try and get things done by yourself. You're going to be hard on your people, beating dead horses, people that you have not invested in and you're expecting the best from. That's not how leadership works. I always insist that if people don't have what to benefit from you, they would not be asked to report to you. You won't be leading them. The reason that you are leading people is because for them to move to the next level in terms of capacity to do things, to get things done, they need to benefit from you. There are things that they need to collect from you. Otherwise, you should not be leading them. Leadership is value addition. Leadership is about upgrading capacity of people reporting to you. And different people reporting to you would exhibit different capacities, all right? But each of them have things to benefit from you to their ability to get things done. So that has to be, your focus. That has to be your focus. What are we saying here? The point is this, that fairness, maintaining a level playing field, not playing favorites, is a priority that many leaders need to go back to as topmost. You have to create that environment where every person in your team, they have a sense of belonging. They have a sense that they can achieve anything just like anybody else. That they are not disadvantaged by your conduct in any way. That whatever they get or fail to get is going to be a result of what they do, not what you do. When you put people in that kind of environment, you put their minds at ease. You challenge them. You give them a sense of worth. And you see how they take steps to try and make the most of it. That's how you get the best out of them. The moment people know that some people, some animals, as it were, are more equal than others, And that is what you are orchestrated in terms of your approach, in terms of the, the environment that you have created as a leader. You lose them. You lose their commitment, or you weaken their commitment. Because people know, well, no matter what we do anyway, it's only certain people that will get promoted. It's only his friends that will get promoted. It's only people from his hometown that will get promoted. That's not what a leader should do. If you are practicing that, you are undermining yourself. If you are getting any results at all, you are not getting the kind of results you should be getting. Rest assured that you can do far better, because many of your people, their commitment to you is weak, or at least weaker than it could possibly be. You are not fully exploiting them. You are not giving them a reason to be sold out to you, because they are not confident that they can put in their best. They would be asking themselves, what will we get? We can kill ourselves now doing everything for him. When it's time to reward people, he's only going to reward the people who are his favorites. If people have that kind of, understanding of the way that you conduct your business as a leader, it's not good for you. It's a bad signal, and you need to change it. You need to change it. That is truth. The reason that I used tricky truth on the caption of the banner for this broadcast is this: the company policy is some kind of truth. I mean, the law of the company, this is how we want things done. But when you get into situations where the law demands one thing, and what is beneficial to the people demands another thing, the real truth is that you focus on the people above the law of the company. Policy cannot be more important than life, no matter what the policy is. Empathy must rise above policy. Empathy must rise above the limitations of company policy. We have seen many companies where they have rules. In fact, they have such rules that maybe one, high flyer staff falls sick now and may not be a senior person, and then you'll be talking about policy. There's, the benefits that the person can enjoy are limited. It can't go to this kind of facility. It's for senior people, but life is at stake. Life is at stake. And many of the things that some of the leaders do is they simply bow to policy, and they're explaining to somebody who needs urgent help, who's perhaps at the point of, in a life or death situation. They are trying to explain that they are hindered or hampered because of policy. No, that's not the way to go. The way to go as a true leader is to go to any length to get the organization to set that policy aside, because a life is at stake. And there are leaders who do that. There are leaders who even make the commitment, violate the policy, but save a life. And when they come back, the same people who would have scolded them on policy will tell them you did the right thing. Because for companies that are more pro-people, they also understand that the policies were not made, all right, to be more important than the lives of the people who are giving their best to their institutions. So a leader must also not misrepresent, the company. But I thought that it was very instructive when Jesus put down this whole idea of doing everything to comply with the tithe, which is like a law, all right, and emphasize the most important things. The thing with fairness is this. One, perhaps the most important attribute of God is the fact that he's fair. Is the fact that he is fair. That's why he's called a just God. He's fair. What I can get, you can get. As long as both of us play by the rules, there is nothing you get from God that I can get. That's how it should be with your people. If they play by the rules, everyone should have the opportunity of benefiting, doing the same thing, complying, all right, with your expectations. So please, when you teach any teaching on leadership that does not place people at topmost priority, if anyone is teaching you anything on leadership and is not placing expressly top people consideration as top priority, please don't practice it. Just keep that policy in the cooler. True leadership has people focus as number one. Nothing else matters. That is one fundamental truth that you should uphold as a leader. One fundamental truth. If you want your performance to be right up there, put people at topmost priority. Let the people know that they matter to you more than any other thing. In fact, let people know that they matter to you more than the goals that all of you are trying to achieve. It's a very important, secret. It's a very important secret. It's not about technicalities and all of that. It's the mistake that many leaders make. We look at every other thing, we complain about skills and all of that, but we don't examine what environment, what atmosphere have we created? Are the people operating within an atmosphere in which they are encouraged to give their best, or they are confident enough to give their best, knowing that they will be recognized, they will be celebrated, they will be rewarded for it? That's all that they ask. Be fair to me as a member of the team. Don't restrict my opportunity to benefit, to grow. All right? If you can get that in place, your people have little to worry about. Then they can focus on cooperating and collaborating with you. All right? Running with you as hard as is required so that they can get the results. That's why those who are able to create the right atmosphere within their team, upholding these kinds of policies, ditching the concept of favoritism, that's why they end up showing better results than their colleagues. That's why. And when you do this, like we said, it's not a popular, approach. People will not necessarily celebrate you, but you're not looking for celebration by people. You are focused on adding value to your people. And when you focus on adding value to your people, when you put your people at topmost priority, your people will reward you for it. That is it. Your people will reward you for it. And that reward, you will see it in many ways. Primarily in the strength of their commitment to you and to your goals. Won't that show up in your performance? Of course it will. Of course it will. Of course it will. So that's what I want to focus on today. That's what I want to call your attention to today. The tricky nature of the truth. That the real truth of leadership is put people first. The best way to put people first is to create an atmosphere within your team where everyone has an equal opportunity to become whatever they want to be, drawing virtue from you, benefiting from what you have to carry. All right? And that will mean that you have to place their consideration of people above what even the policy of the company dictates. All right? Yes. What laws, man-made laws dictate, they cannot be placed at a higher level of priority than the truth of leadership. The truth of leadership puts people first. Every other thing comes next. That's the truth of leadership. That's why some people have come to realize, after all, that customers are not the most important, that employees are the most important. Because if you do your employees well, your employees will do your customers well. They know what customers mean to the business. All right. But you can't be suggesting to people that customers mean more to you as a company than them, when they are the ones you are using to service the customers. And the same thing applies among the people. You as a leader can't be suggesting that some people are more important within the team than others for no just reason. For no just reason. Just because, you know, they maybe say yes ma, or yes sir to you, or maybe because they come from your, you know, hometown, or maybe because you share certain things with them. There's no basis for it. All right. So there is no level playing field, and everybody cannot benefit equally. So I hope that you will take that on board. I hope that you will put that into practice. I hope you will create, you know, an atmosphere where your team members know that it's people first, all right, everything else second, where your team members are given the opportunity to benefit from you, all right, like any other member of the team, where they are celebrated, they are rewarded, they are recognized, all right, without, you know, any favoritism. If you will work to put that kind of atmosphere in place, come back and tell me what you see about the changes to the performance that you record with the same team, with the same team. So there may be nothing wrong with your team. There may be everything wrong with you as the leader, because you have failed to put the right kind of atmosphere in place. And so your people cannot, they are not encouraged to give their best. So, and they can change that atmosphere. All right. You are the one as the leader who can set that kind of atmosphere in place. Your people cannot create a level playing field. You are the one as the leader who can create a level playing field. So if you go ahead, you know, and ensure that that's what you have in place, the rest, as they say, will be history. I want to thank everyone who has joined this morning. I hope that it's been a great time. Please go ahead, you know, express your comment, give me feedback. But more importantly, if you have some understanding of what we have discussed this morning, please go ahead and put it to use. That's the purpose of coming to you this morning. That's the nugget that I have for you this morning. And I'm sure that it will work wonders if you commit to implementing it. All right. So tomorrow at 7 p.m. West African time, it will be Leaders Pray. Leaders Pray. And there, what we do is just to examine the prayers that leaders make, is to address the spiritual side to leadership, because of Luke 18 verse 1, which says men ought, that counsel, men ought always to pray and not to faint. And like I said, Jesus said that to his leaders, to people he was grooming. He was teaching them that this leadership thing also requires you to stay in the place of prayer, because there are certain benefits, that will accrue by you doing that. So I started that series about 2 weeks ago, and another edition will be coming up tomorrow evening. And we'll be focusing on some other sets of prayers. So leaders don't pray like everybody else. There are specific things that they pray about because of the nature of their responsibility. And if you need to join me, let's also benefit from that. All right. Thursday is Leadership in 30 Minutes. And you know what we do there. We examine yet another issue on leadership in greater depth, and you have the opportunity. Of course, you can check any of the social media handles or my YouTube channel for past videos. There are over 200 videos that you can benefit from, speaking on different aspects of leadership. So you really want to develop, build your capacity in this all important area. They are all there for your use, and feel free to share the videos with your friends and your colleagues, and let's all develop capacity to provide quality leadership. That's what many countries are suffering from, but more than any other thing is also because of insufficient or irrelevant leadership training. Leaders are made, all right? They are not born. They just don't appear. So that's what we're focused on. All right. And I will, remind you of some of our programs. If you want more focused leadership interventions, right now the Equip program is ongoing. That's the program where you upgrade your capacity to excel. I've talked about it a couple of times. You can check, you will see your link. We start on the 1st of every month. The current cohort has already begun, where today is our 4th day. And, today the journey continues. It's a 40-day program. And they already know that at the end of 40 days, they are looking forward to who they would have become, because 3 days gone already, and it's a marvel what they have heard, what their eyes have been opened to, how much they have been equipped, all right, to go ahead and do excellently well in their journey. That's what the Equip program is about. What other one? There is the Antidote, which is also coming up. I believe that will start maybe in the coming month. And so you still have an opportunity to get on board. This one is 4 weeks, not 40 days, but it will meet on Saturday and Sunday. We're going to meet 8 times of 2 hours each. And what is the idea? The idea is that there are odds against your pursuit of any goal, your pursuit of success in life. You will contend with odds. You will contend with odds. The question is, do you have the capacity to overcome those odds? Many people fail because they lack the capacity. The capacity is having the antidote to neutralize those odds and to beat them. So Antidote as a program is a masterclass, a 4-week masterclass, and is designed to empower you, all right, with the framework, all right, that helps you to come up with antidotes. Going through that program, it will open your eyes to how to fortify yourself against the odds of success. And the odds of success, they're huge. It's at least 75%. That's why many people start things and they never complete them. They fail. Why? Because those odds will come. And when they come, if you don't overcome them, you cannot succeed. You can't succeed. But some people succeed. That's because they overcome them. And that's because they have the capacity. They have the antidote. And you can also build that capacity ahead of those things, of the odds showing up, so that when they show up, you take them in your stride and they will not prevent you. The antidotes help you, okay, to lower the odds that you would fail and to increase the odds that you will succeed. And that's a program that you also want to consider. I think there is another program called the New You. The New You, the premise of the New You is this, is that if you want to change your performance, you have to change something about you. If you could do better than you're doing now, you would have done better than you're doing. The only reason you're not doing better than you're doing now is because that's the best that the you that you know can do right now. In order to upgrade your performance, you have to change the you. I mean, look at what we've just discussed. It requires a change. You want to upgrade your performance? One of the things that you need to do, examine the atmosphere that you have created in your team. Change that atmosphere, all right? Implement a level playing field. That's changing you, changing your understanding of what needs to be done. And when you change that, in which case you has now changed, you'll see how it will show up in your performance. So this program draws your attention to a particular kind of relationship that you need to enter that will help to change you so that your performance can change. All right. This is how we think through our programs. Every program has an underlying logic. All right. And that's why we are confident that when you take them, they will deliver. All right. They will deliver on their mandate. They will deliver on their mandate. All right. There are other programs, check us out or send me an email, especially if you want personal coaching or mentoring, and you find my email in the description area. Be rest assured that you will hear from me. I want to thank you once again. It's been Leadership Monday. We've been talking about the tricky truth, and see you tomorrow if you're able to make it. Otherwise, see you on Thursday on Leadership in 30 Minutes, or see you at any of our programs. It will be my pleasure to welcome you. God bless you. Have a wonderful week, by the way. Bye-bye.